Alright, this thing's been sitting here for about a month. All torn down. Engine's out of it. You can see no engine in there. All the clutch parts are off of it. So I got this thing for $2,700. It's 2014 Polaris 570. And I got it, it ran, but it had a bad knock. So we tore it all down. And today we're rebuilding the whole thing. So the rod bearing went on it. So we got brand new rebuild kit from Rev 6. So this is the complete engine rebuild. Comes with the crank, valves, seals, gaskets, piston, cylinder, everything. I think it was like $1,400. So that came in the mail yesterday, so we can finally start rebuilding this thing. Going over to this part of the shop over here. All of our parts laid out right here. Cases are split, bearings are out of it that were bad. The crank bearings were junk on this thing as well, right in here. And all the bearings are pushed up. So we've got all brand new parts. We can start cleaning up these cases, getting the bearings back in, and we can begin the rebuild process. The piston was actually pretty decent on it, but the rings were really worn. So we decided to get a full rebuild kit. You can see here's the old piston. Here is the culprit right here. You can see rod bearing just gone. So you can see all the play up and down. It's just horrible. Alright, supposedly this kit comes with the timing chain and the oil pump chain. So hopefully those all come, and they say it came with the valve seals as well. So we'll see. Got our seals and our full gasket kit here. Yep, it looks like it does come with the valve seals as well. That's a seal for the crank bearing seal. Cylinder. Pretty nice. A couple of the valves. Brand new. We've got the oil chain, cam chain. A couple more of the valves. These look like the exhaust valves. Brand new crank bearings. Let's see what's in here. I think this one might be the tensioner. Yep. So another tensioner here. Take a look at that once we do the top end. So brand new crank. So everything's here. All right, starting with the crankcase here. Just kind of cleaning this all up, getting all the metal shavings out of here. Making sure it's all prepped so when we fit the new bearings, everything goes in smoothly. We're going to blow this all out with compressed air to make sure there's not a single metal chunk in there. No metallic flakes, anything like that. There are quite a few down here. You can see when you wipe it with a rag. We'll take some time and clean these all up and make sure they're nice and clean. Alright, case half is all cleaned out, you can see. So we've got the new bearings here. new crank bearings. So both of these are going to go right in here with the spacer in between them. So this is going to sit like this. Just like that, inside this cavity right there. So we have to press those in. And in order to get the right depth on the first one, there's a clip that goes around here. So let's install that first. So here it is. We have to get that into there. Alright, there we go. Clip is in place. Now we can press those bearings in. Alright, first bearing being pressed in here. Make sure it goes in pretty straight. See where we're at with that. So we're not quite there, you can see it's not hitting the ring. Alright, so we're in all the way there. See that? This one sits inside here. Like that. And this one gets pressed in. Right there, bottomed out. See, really nice and smooth. All right, that's perfect. All right, just gonna put a little assembly lube on the bearings here. All right, we'll put that case half away for now. All right, so this is going to have the bushing right here that we had to get separate. This is what that one looks like a little bushing. This does not come with the Rev 6 kit, so I had to buy that separately. But that gets pressed into there like that. And this oil hole on it has to be lined up accordingly. And then it has a filter we're going to clean out. Yep, look at all the metal shavings in there. So we have to clean that out really well, and then the rest of the case we have to clean out, make sure everything's good. And this is our check valve right in here. Alright, so there's a little jet right here. So that sprays the piston. So I want to make sure that's clear. I already sprayed through that with the air compressor. You can see that's nice and clear. And then there's a check valve right here we have to get out. So let's work on that. So this just pops out, O-ring down out of here. And basically all that is a check valve. So what you can do, make sure it's working. Just push up on it. You can see that moves up and down, that little piston in there. So that's good. The O-ring feels good. Put that right back in place, but yeah, it's working. All right, bushing is being pushed in, crank bushing. There's a hole right there that goes towards the bearing on this side. Just gonna quick push this in, and it will bottom out here, hopefully. So that's what that looks like. You can see the hole pointing towards that bearing over there. That looks perfect. All right, a little bit of assembly lube on this bearing. All right, that case half is done. All right, we're back to this case side. Little bearing stopper going in. And on these bolts, we're gonna put a little bit of red Loctite. We're not having those come off. All right, we've got the crank in the freezer, and we can drop it into this bearing once that gets done. We'll heat these up, drop the crank in, and then these case halves can go together. But we're waiting on the crank to get frozen, so that'll probably take about a day. So let's work on the valves. We'll get these installed into the head, along with our new valve seals. So let's work on that. So here were the old valve seals right here. They're going to be getting replaced. So here are the new valves. Let's see. Nice. So these because The intake valves are magnetic. These can be lapped in, but the exhaust valves cannot. It'll take off the coating on here. Lots of carbon buildup. Alright, these are getting cleaned. Alright, we're going to lap in the intake valves, but we're not going to do the, I believe these are titanium exhaust valves, so we can't lap those in. Those have a special coating on it that will get torn off if you lap them. So let's go ahead and lap in the intake valves. Wipe that off. The new valve seals. Alright. Press that one in. Press that one in. We'll compress that, get that one in, and then we'll do the rest of them. See if we can get them in here. All valves are in place. Looking good. Alright, we've got the brand new cylinder here. You can see that's all honed out already, good to go. Just we don't have to do anything to that. Looks perfect. Here's the new piston. Open that up. See what that looks like. Clips, pin, alright, then we've got the rings right here. Open these up, we'll check the ring gap. Alright, we've got the top ring with a 1R on it. Second ring with a 2R on it. That's going to face up on the piston. You've got your oil rings. Alright, let's see what the rings feel like. We'll do the second ring first. Push it down with the piston. You can see that's a really nice tight ring gap right there. Okay, it's exactly 16 thousandths. Typically, the ring gap on those are a little bit bigger than the first ring. So let's get the first ring in. You can tell it's the first ring because it's got that silver band on it. The second ring's just straight black. Let's push that in there. Nice tight ring gap there. This one's probably a little bit smaller, so we'll start at 14 for this one. Exactly 14. So, ring gap is perfect. If the ring gap was a little bit too small, you can take a file and just file the end off of here. Same with the first ring. So, that looks perfect. We can install these rings onto the piston. Alright, so piston rings are installed here. You can see the top ring gap is going to be over here, and the second ring gap is going to be over here, so 180 degrees apart from each other, so oil can't seep through the cracks there. And same with the oil rings, one's going to be over here, one's going to be over there. So all we have to do now is oil this thing up. We already got one clip in for the installation right there, and then we can put the pin in and get this installed once we're ready to. Alright, we're going to heat these cases up here so that we can drop the crank in. And I don't know if the crank's gonna be cold enough. It's only been in the freezer for like 5 hours. Cold enough. Aha. Dropped right in. Right now the counterbalance gear can go in here. So this is going to go in just like this. What we're looking for is a little dot right there. It's gonna line up with the 2 dots. Right here. Just like that. See the 2 dots right there, lining up with the dot right there. That is perfect. All right, we have the two case halves together, just doing a dry fit, making sure everything still spins, everything's smooth. Yep, everything's smooth. It's a little tough to turn the crank because it's brand new bearings, and then I put the assembly lube on there, which makes them hard to turn, but everything looks good. All right, let's get some gasket maker on here. I'll put a little bit on the other side and then get these cases together. All right, let's get these two case halves together, make sure everything's smooth, everything's good to go. All right, that looks good. All right, while we're waiting for the gasket maker to set up and put our oil pump back in, so I'm gonna line these two dots up on the oil pump, and these two dots are gonna be facing down. So let's put that on, like so. All right, there we go. So the dots are down here, and that guy points towards the dot right there. Here. It's going to drop down in here. There's a pin in there. It's going to sit in here. Like that. Goes over the shaft right there. And then here is our little cap here. It goes on here like that. And then we have our bolts here that go on. All right, now we can get the gears on here for the pump and the counterbalance. And we've got a brand new chain for it. Open that up right away, we're gonna need that in a second here. The smaller of the two gears goes on the oil pump here. It's gonna end in 9-9 and say out. Out means the gears flip this way. So we'll put that on like that. And then we've got a bolt and a washer that look like that. It's gonna go on right here. We'll just hand tighten that for now. Over on this side, there's going to be a spacer that looks like that. Drop that on. Spacer goes on beveled side up. And then you've got your bigger gear that goes on like that. This one's gonna say 9-8 on the end with the out facing up like that. So that's how that's gonna go. And then our oil pump chain is going to go around here like this. Just like that. And see how tight that is? Remember the last one was super loose, so that was definitely stretched. And then you're gonna have a bolt right here. And we'll torque those down. All right, next is cam chain. A brand new cam chain with the kit we bought. So this is going to go through here. Like so. On that gear here, like that. And then we've got our little guide stopper that goes in there like that. Our brown guide will be going down here like so with its bolt. And then you've got the straight black guide like this. Gonna come in from this way. Go like that. And stopper all installed, looking good. All right, been about an hour, so let's torque these bolts down to 22 foot-pounds. And the torque sequence is going to be right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So basically just go opposite of each other. All right, everything is torqued down, ready to go. All right, so let's get the flywheel on next. All right, woodruff key going in. You can check the one-way bearing here, and that's good. So now we can get the flywheel on. Like that. Alright, now we've got the washer going on. And this nut goes on. I'm going to put Loctite on that once we torque this down completely. I'm not going to torque it down yet. I don't know if I have to take it off or anything when we do the top end, so I'll just lightly screw this on for now. So that's just on there temporarily like this. And then we've got the starter gear right here. This can go on the back right here. Just like that. So that is all back together, looking good, and then the stator just goes right on there. And I believe we have a new gasket for that. Just gonna go on like that. All right, brand new crank seal going on. Alright, right over here we can get this on, the little breather. So this goes down like this. There's a little groove right there that it slides into. And this hose goes on. Just looks like this. It's metal. We're just gonna put a very thin layer of gasket maker around here. Like very thin, just a very light amount. This way like that. Lubed. All right, now time to install the piston. You can see there's an EX on the piston, meaning exhaust. So that's gonna go towards the breather, which is right here, that end. Let's get that on. That looks good. Now we have to get the other clip in there, which is always fun. All right, time to get the cylinder on. I'm gonna lube this up a little bit. It's the hard part. All right, let's get the head on next. So get this gasket on first here. that. These are all the same length. All right, the first step is to torque these to 18 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's see what the second step is. Second step is torque to 30 foot-pounds. All right, third step is going to be to loosen all the fasteners until they're unseated. Retorque these to 15 foot-pounds. Now, it says torque them to 26 foot-pounds. All right, now, additional 180 degrees, and then another additional 180 degrees. All right, we're ready to install the flywheel. So take this nut off. Put a little bit of Loctite on there. The water pump gear has like a little notch, and then there's a groove on the flywheel, so that has to line up. That looks pretty dang close. Huh. All right, now we've got this thing tapped at center. You can see the little arrow in there. Hopefully it will focus here. So that's what you're gonna see in the crank sensor port there on the flywheel. And then there'll be a tapped at center. So let's install these cams. All right, intake cam going on first. Lobes are gonna be pointing out this way. You can see the eye and the eye are going to be parallel with the surface of the head. Let's install this now. our exhaust cam with the decompression mechanism, which we're going to check here quick. See if that's working. It's going to go this way. Lobe's pointing out again. See, two lines are parallel with the surface of the head, and then the two lines there are parallel with the surface of the head. So we are spot on. Lobes are pointing away from each other. And yeah, everything looks good. Alright, these are torqued to 7 foot-pounds. Alright, so specs for the valves are 6 thousandths for the intake and 8 thousandths for the exhaust. These are both a little bit big. They're both right around 10 thousandths of an inch, so we're going to have to reshim these with the correct buckets. But that will be after the first break, and I just want to see how they adjust before I go ordering new buckets. On these, the buckets actually have the shims attached to them, so you have to order buckets with the shim. Alright, this kit came with the Rev 6 upgraded tensioner. Let's get these bolts off of here. So the original tensioner looks like this. It's basically just a spring-loaded piston here. I guess those fail a lot, so that's why you upgrade them. Alright, let's get to here. Alright, then this little piston goes in here like that. Pushes up against the cam chain there. And what this one does, this little tool is a stopper here for it. There. Now we install that like this. And you can take this out right here, and that will automatically tension that chain. And then you've got the little O-ring with the bolt here. Gasket. I'm just gonna go around like that. I'll go like this. That will get bolted down. Alright, crank position sensor going in. Can oil up this O-ring here. now we can get the valve cover gasket on. We are going to put a little bit of the gasket maker on here. Right there with that. All right, let's get the thermostat on next. Get that cleaned out. So we tested the thermostat last video, and we saw that that was in fact opening and closing. We put that in some boiling water, and it seemed to work out pretty good. So this is just going to go. All right, engine is complete. Everything is good to go. All right, so we've got to get the engine placed right in the middle here, and everything should bolt right up. All right, engine is all in. Let's get these lines on here. All right, this thing is pretty much completely all back together. We got the clutch on with the belt. Those are all torqued down. We've got the cover right there that goes on next. But I think we're gonna end it there for today. We've got to get a new oil filter for it. We have to do an oil change, get coolant in here, get a new battery, and then we can attempt to start this thing. So sorry for ending it short here, but the video is getting pretty long and I don't want to rush it. So next video, we will do the first start, first ride, hopefully, if it does start, and we'll see if this thing runs. So should be pretty interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed the rebuild on this 570 engine. Definitely learned a lot doing it, and it went together pretty fast. So it took me about 2 days to get the engine done and back into the machine. So wasn't too bad. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next one, and until next time, we are out.